All right, we are going to start this benchmark about cellular division so that we can continue on for our unit. And the first thing that we want to address is something called the cell cycle. The cell cycle is the process or the steps that a cell goes through for division. All right, so it's the entire cycle required of a cell in order for it to be able to divide. And if you notice, the cell is going to go through a number of different steps in its entire process. A large chunk of that time is spent in something called interphase. After it moves into interphase, it goes into something called prophase, then it moves into metaphase, anaphase, telophase, and cytokinesis. All right? If you look, we have nuclear division versus cell division. All right? We're going to make that distinction in the cell cycle about how these different things come through. But if you notice, the order is that it goes in interphase, prophase, metaphase, anaphase, telophase, cytokinesis. IPMAT-C. I have a mnemonic device that I've used here. I pet my albino tiger carefully, or some of you guys preferred, I pet my angry tiger carefully, up to you. But IPMAT-C is the entire cell cycle for cellular division. So this is the events that are going to make up the life cycle of the cell. The cell is going to move through interphase, prophase, metaphase, anaphase, telophase, cytokinesis. And once it finishes cytokinesis, it's going to move on again back into interphase. The cell is going to be constantly dividing, all right? They alternate between division and resting, but this resting isn't really necessarily stopping, all right? This resting stage is more of a phase of growth than anything. So interphase, the M phase, is mitosis, or cytokinesis is a way to also break it down. So different types of cellular division exist. All right, we've got binary fission and mitosis. These are two that we're going to actually address right now. Meiosis, however, is something that we're not going to talk about in this lesson. We'll get to that later in the next unit. So which type is going to be used is depending on what organism is performing cellular division and why cellular division is taking place. So, for example, a bacteria is a single-celled organism. When it divides, it's creating an entirely new organism. One cell becomes two. That would be a form of reproduction. In that case, we actually refer to it as binary fission. However, humans don't perform cellular division to create an entirely new human. All right? That's not the process that we use. We use cellular division, or mitosis is a vague way to explain it. We use it in order to depict how our cells are going to grow and how our cells are going to develop. So, like I said, bacteria divide for a new organism, where eukaryotic cells divide for growth and development and specialization. All right. No matter what's happening, though, DNA's got to replicate first, right? The DNA needs to copy so that each new cell has a complete set. So let's talk about binary fission a little. Binary meaning two, fission meaning splitting. So this is going to be how cellular division, all right, is just the cell splitting. What happens is that you wind up with a bacterial cell. Remember, bacterial cell, prokaryotic, not a whole lot of organelles going on in there. It's got a cell membrane, cell wall, and it's a big giant strand of DNA all coiled up. All right, we've got the DNA replication took place here. So we've got two big squiggles. All right, that cell is going to start to pinch it, and then when it pinches off completely, we've got two identical cells. So one bacteria becomes two. You can see how easy it is for bacteria to multiply. All right, this is why bacterial growth is so quick. Why? When you get sick, it only takes you, a good 24 hours to actually get sick after you've come in contact with that bacteria, because 24 hours is more than enough time for that bacteria to divide over and over and over inside of your body. So, this little key point right here is that these two cells should be identical, except when there's a mistake during DNA replication. If a mistake happens, then obviously they're not going to be identical anymore. All right? So, binary fission is how bacteria reproduce. It's asexual reproduction. Asexual, all right, refers to number of parent organisms. One parent creating the new organism. There's no mate. Without a mate is asexual reproduction. all right? What you wind up with are two identical bacteria, like I said. However,